All right, I guess we are live. Welcome. Let me adjust the sound settings real quick so I don't hear myself. I knew you were waiting for me. All right, let's get the show on the road. I'll admit I don't play this game often enough, so I'll go in spurts where I'll play like every day or every other day for like 2 weeks straight, and then I can go months without playing this game, so... I think I got almost everybody I wanted recently. Wait, did I get Perry last time? Let me look. Yeah, I did. Aww.
新しい一年がちょっと年輪のメモリ循環もう1年ですか。指揮官、お正月の過ごし方は決めた？お参り明けおめ。これからも毎年楽しく過ごせるといいね、指揮官。夜のパーティーには明けおめ、指揮官。ほら、おお、また新年が来たのか。こんな天才発明家と1年も共に指揮官、年賀カードを受け取ってくれるか。なにこんなの今。明けましておめでとう、指揮官。元日から張り切っておいでですね、指揮官。明けまして新しいどうしたちや。今年もう新年か。また今年の目標を立てないとね。大晦日の夜は皆さんが集まります。明けおめ。指揮官、明けましておめでとうございます。最初の挨拶は新年の鐘のね、鳴ったね。指揮官、明けましておめでとうございます。
I feel like they changed her character design. They changed her character design quite a bit from the first game. Like Mekti, they gave a different hairstyle, but that's about it.
指揮官といると時間があっという間に過ぎていくね。指揮官、明けま元日から張り切っておいでですね、ご主人様。ちょっと新しい一年が指揮官、誕生日おめでとう。指揮官、指揮官、バースデーソング歌ってあげよっか。お誕生日おめでとうご。メリークリスマス、指揮官。 夜は冷えるから気をつけて。
Well, them saying Merry Christmas is a step up from what
夜は冷えるから
I guess the Umamusume translators did.
秘密だよ。サンタさん、私をグリフィン。シャンシャンシャンシャンシャンシャン。トナカイさんがスーパーアイドルを連れてきました。過去のメンタルログによれば。指揮官、どうしてここに。プレゼントをまだ。サンタさんが来たら起こして。今晩社活でイベントがあるので。メリークリスマス。指揮官、君のブラックフライデーって恐ろしい。一瞬で財布が空っぽになっちゃった。でもまあお金は使うものだし、祝日で値引きして。私の帽子？クリスマスだからサンタの帽子をかぶるのは当然でしょ。指揮官の分もあるわよ。あ、ごめんなさい。今日はサンタさんになるつもりだったのですが。ごめんね。レストランの予約が殺到してたせい。ご主人様、飾り付けはもう少しお待ちください。まだ直してない箇所がありますので。
サンタクロース。
よし、今年はわしがサンタになってやろう。シャンシャンシャンシャンシャンシャン。
Alright, that's enough of that. I'm not going that far. I already have her deployed. Shit. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, that should work.
ゲット。次はシャンシャンキュー。
今
こんなところでほら危ないよ。パーフェクト。いくよ。イエーイ。次はシャークリーの時間だよ。
今だ。
うわっ。
ポンテよい
作戦するよ。白カラーの声だよ。みーけた。みんなあげていますよ。
今だ。
さて
ポンテスの
白カラーの声だよ。みーけた。みんなあげていくよ。
今
イエーイ。
今
みんなあげてイエーイ。サンキュー。
ポンテ
みんなありがとう。完璧なショーができたよ。シャークリンの次のパフォーマンスにも期待してね。私の新発明味わってみて。ショータイム。静かにしろ。白カラーの声だよ。白黒出番だよ。みんな元気を出して。
浅はかな
ほら危ないよ。
なんだ降参する。
みーけた。作戦するよ。みんな元気を出して。食べちゃう。 は大事にしないと。白カラーの声だよ。見つけた。イエーイ。次はシャークリーの時間だよ。命は大事にしないと。見つけた。サンキュー。ごめんね。ショータイム。静かにしろ。見つけた。
降参だ。降参する。
みんなありがとう。完璧なショーができたよ。シャークリーの次のパフォーマンスにも期待してね。白黒の声だよ。白黒出番だよ。次はサンキュー。ごめんね。ショータイム。見つけた。次はシャークリーの時間だよ。静かにして。見つけた。イエーイ。ショータイム。見つけた。イエーイ。みんなごめんね。ショータイム。静かにして。見つけた。イエーイ。
降参だ。降参する。
ショータイム。見つけた。次はシャークリー。ごめんね。身だしなみはと。バッチリ。指揮官、次のパフォーマンスはいつ？ベクリー、いつでもスタンバイできてるよ。
Somehow I have a feeling this is going to be harder than I am predicting.
ブランチ逃げるな今度は引かない
浅はかな行動を悔い改めなさい。全員死ね。と当然の結果ですね。
Well, maybe not.
あなたはここまでです。さよなら。浅はかな行動を悔い改めなさい。
こっちだよ
今度は浅はかな行動を悔い改めなさい。さよなら。
こっちだよこっちだよ
全員死ね。
止まって時間がない
避けないんですか。
仲間は傷つけさせないこっちだよちゃんと戦力配置を考えれば勝利への道は開かれる
じゃあ始めよっか。
撃つな。降参だ。降参する。
逃げられるぞ。プラン実行。早く。朝日の行動を悔い改めなさい。削除します。あんたが私の相手？準備万端。そのまま。プラン実行。逃げるな。避けないんです。怪我しますよ。作戦終了。帰ろっか。
Hey, Redbeard, what's up?
さよなら。準備万端。と。と。逃げられるぞ。削除します。
You play it a lot more often than I do, I guess. I'm in one of those situations where I've got to level up a few before I continue the storyline, because I've completed almost everything on the regular mode, but on hard mode I'm kind of stuck at, I forget which level it is, but I've got to grind right now.
あなたに赤爆たる消失を閣下
浅はかな行動を悔い改めなさい。避けないんですか。怪我しますよ。
Ah, I knew I'd fail.
ごめんなさい。もっと慎重になるべきでした。
Yeah, unlike a lot of people who regularly play this game, I'm not at level 60 yet. I'm at like 46 or 47, something like that. Yeah, if I play every day, I probably will. I've been playing a lot more Uma Musume recently, though. I got Tamamo Cross yesterday. And did an almost perfect career with her. I think I got second on 2 of the races, though. Damn you, Rice Shower. Tamamo Cross? You should try and go for her. It took me only, I think, 3 tries. I don't know what to think of the the lounge, but let's go exploring a little bit. Why not? I think this thing is half the reason people play this game, and they like it more than the first one. Oh, okay, so it's one of these uh Sharkry, you might be. Oh, I wound up talking to Vepley. How the hell did that happen? You're a singer, so yes, we have to train your voice, and we have to be mindful of your vocal health. All right, let's talk to you, Sharkery.
指揮官元気なさそうだね。もし希望があればシャークリいつ
Yeah, I probably should do that to get more of the outfits. Groza. I think it's because she's in the kitchen and I'm thinking about food. I bet she can. I've been stuck inside for the last 5 days, so I've been doing a lot of cooking as well.
そう
Yeah, since Friday night for me as well. And I'm stuck here tomorrow as well, so I don't think it's gonna get above freezing here until tomorrow afternoon. And then a lot of what's gonna melt's gonna refreeze tomorrow night.
指揮官
Ooh, I unlocked a few things, I think. Ooh, okay. Potatoes au gratin. I gotta go with UMP. Yongone. Leva. Oh yeah, that's gotta suck. Especially with the end of the month coming up and, you know, bills are due and all that. Everything can always use more salt. That's my philosophy. Okay. I can see how you would grind doing stuff like this. What if I want to do more delicious cuisine? Okay. Okay, that's by sorting. Okay, let's try it. Ooh, takoyaki. No, I have not made a drink yet.
Go 安心ください。お時間になりました。はい。ご安心ください。いいですね。
Oh no. Oh no.
ごめんなさい。
Oh gosh. That looks like palm olive dish soap.
ごめんなさい。
What if I pick somebody else? Who do I think can decently cook? Surely an Italian can. Yeah. Yep. Oh no. Yeah, I saw it. Thanks for the doc. I'll just do this a couple more times and maybe go to battle. Let's see who else can cook this steak. Ah. I bet since Horaci can cook this. All right. One more. Yeah, we know how that ends. All right. I think I completed all of... No. Okay, this is where I was. Alright, here goes nothing. Time to do battle.
用意。私が必要？ここです。頑張ります。静かにして。それがしが守る。成功。静かにして。次はシャークさんキュー。いっと試してみよう。ショータイム。 は大事にしないと。次はシャークリーごめんね。もういいでしょう。えい、見て見て、えい、こっちを見なさい。痛い。静かにして。みんな命は大事にしないと。私が強かった？ううん、あなたの采配のおかげよ。
I find it odd when you start from the lounge. It just always takes you back to the lounge. Okay, I think I got a rhythm going though, so...
静かにして。次はじゃあいますよ。いっちょ試してみよう。ショータイム。命は大事にしないと。みんな見て見て、えい、ごめんね。もういいでしょう。えい、みんな元気を出して。静かにして。次はシャーゲーごめんね。身だしなみはバッチリ。指揮官、次のパフォーマンスはいつです？静かにして。みんな当てていくよ。いっちょ試してみよう。ショータイム。ええ次はシャーゲー見て見て、えい、静かにして。みんな上げていけ。バーガー、えい、こんなところで。
Because Sharky left. Although she was being assisted by, you know... Well, whatever. Ah, this is what I was looking for from last time. Where was it? Let's see. Well, let's see what happens here. Yeah. What in the world? Is this like GFL meets Minecraft? What is this about? Let's see. Fuck it, let's see what happens.
身だしなみはと、バッチリ。指揮官、次のパフォーマンスはいつ？レプリ
I think we'll end that part on a high note. So excuse me.
「私の部屋ってどこ？新しく仕入れた安眠セットの効果を試したいんだ。」食べてみてください。
While we all admire the food, I'm gonna take a quick break and grab something to drink, so I'll be right back. And I'm back. Okay, I think we should call it quits for now and go to the React videos. Got several pulled up, so bear with me for just a couple of minutes while I get out of the game here. All right, I've got a few YouTube videos pulled up that we can react to. So a few of them are from SHOT Show, covering some of the products that were, I guess, not released but previewed there. So we're going to watch a few of those. And then I got a couple of car vids. One's a Miata. Okay, one's for an Indy 3 review, which I like to do. I like to watch all of those videos from all the prominent car YouTubers. And then I've got another one that's kind of going to surprise you. It's not a Miata, but I think some of you may like it. So, but I'm gonna keep it secret. It's gonna be the last video we'll watch. So, let's go ahead and go with the first one. This is from TFB TV at SHOT Show. I think the biggest thing at SHOT Show, or the biggest news, was on the new like Daewoo K2s and other rifles and pistols that they're releasing in the United States. So this is the first time we'll be able to get new ones since I think it was the import ban back under Bush 41 that they stopped coming into the country back in the late 80s. So I had a chance to buy one, actually. There's a little bit of a personal story here. Back at my hometown's local gun shop. And they had it priced at only like, I want to say $450, $500. I don't know if they knew what they had. But I think those things are going for like mad money right now for whatever reason. I don't personally like it all that much, but since these rifles and these new firearms coming in are like the talk of the town, and one of the big deals that was taking place at SHOT Show, we'll go ahead and watch this. So let me go ahead and hit play here.
James Reeves with SHOT Show legend.
And let me know if the volume
Charles
needs to be adjusted.
From SNT Motive, SNT Defense, formerly known as Daewoo. You guys know, if you've been watching the channel, that I'm a huge Daewoo K-Series fan. I had an old, I think they were called the DR100 in the United States, that was imported by Kimber, 20 years ago. Everyone watched the video last year. Everyone lost their minds. Everyone appreciated what a great job you did, Charles. We're going to talk about the Daewoo K7, but before we do that, we talked a little bit last year about the best Korean restaurant in Las Vegas. So go ahead. What is it this year? Anything new?
Well, actually, we visited the same restaurant I visited before. I mean, yesterday we went there. And actually, the restaurant serve, a lot, different type of meat. They serve. We can take everything we want. As much as I can take.
Oh, it's a buffet, all you can eat. What's it called? What's the name of the restaurant?
Wow, is it allowed to say the exact name of restaurant?
100%. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, what's it called? Like Korean? Like, what is it? What's it called?
Well, the name is Gung, which is like from here it took like 20 minutes away by car. So it's quite close. And actually, I had a lot of meat. Last night, I had some stomach issues. This morning.
Oh, jeez. You ate too much Korean barbecue.
My stomach is turning because I'm so excited about the Daewoo K7.
Okay.
I saw this gun now. For those of you who don't know, the South Koreans, and correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, Charles, the South Koreans we're purchasing the H&K MP5 SD, which is, of course, an incredible weapon system. However, they're very expensive. So Daewoo, very talented company, they make a great product, said, you know what, we can do it better. They decided to make the Daewoo K7. This is an integrally suppressed SD-type pistol caliber carbine using the traditional Daewoo K series of rifles setup. You've got your charging handle,
Correct.
right
like
here.
Traditionally,
I'll admit, this is like the Korean MP5 SD, I guess, in 5.56. I'll admit, with the suppressor, I kind of want one. Not gonna lie, I kind of want one.
like a K2,
Yes.
we have the charging handles on right side, and as you said, the suppressor is permanently attached. So it's more beneficial in case we detach that one. But we are based on your comments, and we are also planning to, change the design. We are also considering to design. That's correct, and allowing users can detach and maintain the suppressor by themselves.
Sure, and what I would suggest, because as we talked about before the
But then it's no longer an SD, is it? Because that's the whole thing about the MP5 SD. It's like integrally suppressed. If you no longer do that, you might as well just get an MP5 with a detachable suppressor that mounts on the tri-lug. That's what you'd be doing here. You'd sell like a K7 pistol, and then have threading for a can or some kind of mounting mechanism.
And I know we're getting ahead of ourselves here, but as we discussed, it's a little tricky to import suppressors from another country. What you could do is you could keep it with the shroud, keep the barrel short, and then have it so users can put their own suppressor in, and I guarantee you would sell 1 million of these guns.
Well, hello,
but there's a
there's that.
solution.
Yep.
There's a
It's
solution,
going
and I
good
want to
so
help you guys
far.
get to it, because I want you guys
I got a little bit
to bring
tired of
these
playing the
over and
game,
make
so we're
millions and
watching
millions
these
of dollars,
videos
because
now.
these are really cool. Same setup as the Daewoo K series. You've got the optics rail up here, charging handle.
He did make a point, by the way, about how it's kind of tricky to import suppressors into the United States. I think due to the 68 Gun Control Act, the importation of suppressors for civilian purposes is almost impossible. I think only SOTs can get them, and they can't transfer them to individuals or trusts. All those suppressors have to be U.S. made, from my understanding. So I guess to get this look, you'd have to import the pistol, and then they'd have to configure this end in a way to where they can actually like put a detachable suppressor rather than something that's fully integrated, because then it's no longer an SD, but it's just a K7 pistol with the suppressor. I still think it would look really neat, though. I think it'd be cool. I love the concept.
Over here, same takedown back here, right? I pop this, and then
Correct.
it opens up. It's AR style. No, if I remember correctly, there's a few parts compatible with the AR, with the K series.
Correct. Yes. Few parts compatible, but not everything. Everything's.
Yeah,
Yes.
of
So
course.
always there is opportunities.
Oh, 100%. I honestly think people shit on the 34 National Firearms Act, but in a lot of ways, the GCA was worse. I mean, like, you don't feel it as much if you're a normie, but the amount of fuckery it did to the whole gun industry in the United States and the civilian market is arguably like its effects weren't as deep as the NFA, but they were a lot more broad, if you get what I mean.
You can use the components you have.
So to throw a little bit more polish on this thing, it uses 30-round box magazines manufactured by Daewoo, but they also make this compatible with Uzi magazines or with Beretta PM12 magazines, which is
so I was thinking it was 5.56. No, it's not. It's a 9mm. Okay.
absolutely incredible. You guys can see very similar controls to the AR. The safety's not identical, but
I'm going to tell you something. This is going to be a step up. If this stock here doesn't weaken or bend over time like the same stocks with the forks or whatever on the MP5 have been known to do, then this is a step up from that.
In the same place. I'm pretty sure some of the trigger components are interchangeable with the AR-15. You've got your ping pong paddle right up here.
If it's 9mm, I doubt it's gas
there are
operated.
some really neat features like the adjustable stock. Press that button, you can adjust. There's one position, there's all the way collapsed, and then you can deploy it and stretch it out. 2-position adjustable wire stock. Take down super easy. Hit that little lever. Everything pops out. As you'll see, this is a straight blowback design. I don't want to completely break it apart.
That's so cool, like how easy that is to break down like that, and then you have access to all the guts. I love seeing that.
Collapses up. It's very simple, very reliable. Yeah, and the wire stock is one of my favorites. I would hope that, you know, again, when you talk about even integrating stocks, it becomes tricky when you're importing. I guess you could do a Picatinny rail adapter in the back. If you had to, I would prefer to see this because this is one of my favorite stocks. In any event, I saw this at the booth, and you know, I don't think you wanted to talk about it because it's going to be a challenge to get these in the United States, but you are looking into it.
Sure. Because of, you know, we are businessmen, always if there is opportunity, why not? We will definitely, you know, ask our people to develop and deliver to the markets.
Yeah.
That's what we have to do.
Yeah, and that's why I appreciate you, Charles. A businessman and a professional. Can't wait to have some shoju with you a little bit later this evening. Guys, stay tuned. We're bringing you more from SHOT Show 2026. Take care.
Much. Thank you.
I see another video that he put out that I like. I hate to plug TFB TV too much. I want to see this
TFB
one.
TV's coverage of SHOT Show
For the modern Tommy gun and integrally suppressed Bren. Let's see.
My least favorite part of SHOT Show, coming out of here to this god-forsaken dungeon. Yeah, and especially this guy, too, on a personal level. You know, you walk down, you can't make it 50 feet without someone trying to show you some random bullshit like, you know, a silencer they made out of a car muffler or like a 1911 garden hose spray nozzle. We have basically like a half step above that with what we're calling like the modern day Tommy gun. You guys unfortunately may remember Jacob from last year. Tried to duck this guy all week, but
you can't escape me. You
can't
escape me.
No.
You know?
So, full confession, I haven't really been that much into the gun community in the past few years, and I'm kind of getting back into it. And the last time I regularly watched James Reeves, he didn't have quite as much gray going on up here. No offense, but but yeah, it's weird. It's like I'm in a wormhole. Like I'm starting to get into this just 5 years later, and then all of a sudden, you know, all these people have aged just a little bit. And some of the most popular gun tubers from back in the 2010s are no longer, you know, doing stuff, or they've kind of like leveled off a bit. And then there are new people out there that have just suddenly exploded in popularity.
So I was sniffing for the smell of booze, and it led me right to you.
Yeah. That I'll let you have that one. That is a fact. I went to the silencer shop thing last night. I'm in rough shape. I'm not going to lie to you. So my tolerance is minimal right now.
So if I was at SHOT Show, I'd be
that's
drinking
right.
the whole time.
Someone got stabbed last night.
That was right. You know, I was certain with the amount of alcohol I smelled, James Reeves would have been the victim of a tragedy. However, there was just...
Oh, by the way, they're talking about stabs. Somebody did get stabbed at SHOT Show this year, didn't they? Like, that was the only incident of the violence or something like that. I don't know what that was about, though. Some kind of argument or something like that. That was kind of freaky to read about, and I saw some pictures.
Nice fellow there, got an altercation, and luckily, AR15.com guys had a med kit with them. So
yeah, that was big news. Like everyone's talking about it this morning. Last night, some dude gets stabbed at the Venetian but they were here for the concrete fest. Or whatever.
Yeah. So
okay, not at SHOT Show. They were just
I was trying to enjoy a chai latte before the Sound Shop party, and a fight broke out. And luckily, they were there with a tourniquet, and I was there with these hands.
Yeah, of course. SHOT Show is at the same time as the Concrete Fest, whatever it is, and the porn convention. So yeah. So I've always got. Thanks for taking my joke, asshole.
Yeah,
I was about to hit him with it. Yeah. So I call it Glocks, Rocks, and Cocks every year at SHOT Show. So in any event, God, I can barely stand to be here any longer. Can you please get through this, God?
I get out of EMS, and EMS finds me. But so here we are with our favorite little abomination. So this is
what I call you.
I love you,
coughing on my microphone. COVID having ass.
I probably have pneumonia. So this is a B&T SBC 9 that has a PPSH 41 drum mounted to it with a SLS nylon lower. So I just went and actually talked to B&T. They were. I wanted to get clearance with Carl, of course, before we put Swami drums in it because I don't want to step on that man's toes. He'll kill me.
That's a fact.
He was okay with it. So,
I wish he would.
So we're gonna keep. How could you?
No, continue.
We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep doing Swami drums because Centerfire says these publisher kits are gonna be drying up soon. So the Swami drums are supposed to be much more plentiful. So your GHM 9, your APC 9, your SBC 9. We're gonna do some
These
real
are all
autism with
9mm.
it, and a certain trigger might also work in there. You know what I mean? That make it go burr.
Yeah.
But silently because we also have an XSD on here.
Yeah.
That's right. Carl
They're not
can't escape us either.
semi-auto, right?
What am I buying?
I think
from
that's
you?
what they call
That's
it.
what I'm trying to figure
right.
out.
So we'll make the lower, right? We'll probably buy a whole bunch of the drums and sell the drums as well. So you can buy this lower. You can buy the XSD kit, the integral.
But I don't have to.
You don't have to. No, you don't have. I wish
The
you
lower,
would.
yeah, the
I wish
lower
you
here
would.
is the draw, right? So a lower
Yeah,
for the
most guns people want are impractical, but cool. I just bought one the other day. I haven't revealed it though.
The lower here
SPC.
is the real autism.
And I can't wait to shoot it. It's just so stupid that I want to shoot it.
Right.
That's the real puzzle pieces here. You know what I mean? So that is the work of my engineer, James. We call him James because he's just one. You know. So he emailed B&T saying like, you know, I want to put a publisher drum in an SPC, and they're like, no way, the feed geometry won't work. And like a month later, he sends them a video of it running with an FRT. And Sean Sullivan knows us because of it.
Yeah, sure.
I'm like, we're the publisher guys. He goes, oh right, y'all, just like you. Just is there a common denominator here? Am I that bad?
How much does it cost? When's it coming out?
Don't know about cost yet. We're still prototyping. B&T was offering to OEM for us actually, thankfully, because we're stupid. So we'll see about that when it gets there. But if y'all know Novox, you know we're not greedy. We're just stupid.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So the autism doesn't stop here, James.
Yeah.
Not even CZ
Okay.
can escape our autism.
The autism.
That's right. Czech or Swiss. We're going to do stuff. So this is a CZ Bryn 2 that we have converted to 300 blackout. And using our 9mm shroud from the standalone XSD, we ported the barrel so that we can get some extra expansion chamber in there. So it's like a Mark 12, but nice, you know? And also, Huber Alpha compatible. You can use whatever 9mm can you've already got and throw some 125 grains out real nice and quiet. HB Industries expressed interest in making some plugs for us so we can get it tuned to 300 blackout because this runs with 125 grain on the 556 adverse setting, but it doesn't lock back. It doesn't throw it back far enough.
How much is this going to cost, and how are you selling it? How do I get it?
We actually just went and talked to CZ about getting barrel extensions from them since, you know, that's going to be a pretty hard thing to reverse engineer. So I would reckon this is gonna be probably under 300 for this whole the whole shroud and everything. Assuming how much B&T wants to rake us over the coals there, they may just hate us more.
Right. Sure.
Other than
I don't
that,
know how that's possible.
what?
Huh? Go. Continue.
Other than that, we have the GHM 9 that is also with the XSD. Carl Brugger also. He smiled at least. You know what I mean? So those will be coming along. We have Silver Star Shooting Sports making these hand guards, the shovel nose, the drip.
All right, are we done yet? Is that everything?
You love me.
Thank you, Jacob.
Can't get
Really
rid of me.
appreciate it. If I get lucky, you're going to go out of business, and I don't have to
break
do
my
this
heart
again
and get
next
rid of
year.
me.
Guys, stay tuned. We're bringing more SHOT Show 2026.
I'll find you, James.
God help me.
Okay, so here's the next video. It's the Murdoch and Company SA-80 family of rifles. I think it's them trying to bring or do a US-made L85, which I think is the British service rifle, if I'm not mistaken.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? We are down in the basement of SHOT Show and just walking around, checking things out. Just down the road, we got the Stenzel guys, stopped in and talked to them, but we were walking by, came across this booth, Murdoch & Co. This is Evan. Thank you so much for taking your time.
Absolute pleasure.
They've got some pretty awesome, you don't mind if I pick this up here?
Yeah,
we got
I hope you don't mind
L85s
closed caption.
that I have always found very, very interesting. I've got a bit of a interest in the British military history and that type of stuff. So anytime I've seen an L85, I always thought they were pretty interesting. I know that some people are not a big fan of it necessarily, but I know that the Brits, like yourself and everything, have come to really, really love these. Yes. So
I'm not usually a fan of bullpups, and I've never liked the way this gun looks, but I will admit it does look rather unique. And I know there are a lot of people I know who want one.
I just wanted to stop in, let you kind of talk about kind of where this is starting from and all that type of stuff.
Absolutely.
Give us a little bit of history of what we were trying to accomplish here.
Absolutely. Yeah, so my name's Evan. I'm the CEO and founder of Murdoch & Company. So our mission, simply put, is to save history. So it's to preserve the story of this rifle and those who served with it.
Yep.
So with that, we're almost historical custodians. We decided that this rifle was never going to leave the MOD. We actually had members of Parliament and very high up members of the MOD ask the UK government what's happening with rifles in terms of parts kits or something. And in short, they said that these rifles are going to get destroyed.
Yep.
So it was in that moment, about 2.5 years ago, that I decided that someone has to save these. And in that, a group of amazing people came together from all over the world, England especially, and helped us, again, Royal Armouries, the MOD, remanufacture these rifles. They're not clones because there was no guessing, and they're not just lookalikes.
Okay.
They are exactly the same, just semi-automatic.
Yes.
So they just basically exported the knowledge and the engineering, found an LLC or whatever in the United States to make these, just to say, fuck you to the British government for destroying all those, all their rifles and not even exporting parts kits. I mean, not even Germany is that bad, I don't think. Kudos to him then.
So with that, these in particular, we have an A1 down here and an A2. The A1 is the firearm that has a lot of issues, and that did have a lot of teething problems. And the A2 is your typical HK improved version.
Okay.
So our mission is to tell the entire story of SA-80 and L85. SA-80 being the family of rifle, L85 being the MOD designation, obviously A1 and A2. So part of our company mission, as I said, is to preserve history, and that's what we're doing here. This is uncompromising remanufacturing of these firearms.
So these are legit, like we'll call them surplus kits. Is that correct? Is that a good way to...
Not entirely.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is something that makes a misconception, and we actually find as a compliment, is these are so good, people think that they are kits. So they are not. We make everything on these rifles.
No, see, the guy interviewing him didn't even understand what he was saying about what the British government is doing. They're retiring these rifles and they're completely destroying them. When he said that, members of Parliament had asked about parts kits, what that implies is that they know that militaries in other countries in Europe and elsewhere basically destroy parts of their service rifles, take the parts kits and ship them out for export to whoever wants them. And a lot of them end up on the US civilian market. Well, what he's saying is that the British government's doing everything to make sure that nothing, not even a firing pin or anything, gets into the United States civilian market from these rifles, even if they're rebuilt as semi-automatics from parts kits. So what his company is doing, if I'm reading between the lines correctly, is because they have the engineering know-how, they have the patents and everything, they have the knowledge, they have everything on paper or on a data file, whatever. They are rebuilding everything to spec from scratch in the US and recreating this rifle from scratch. That's what's going on here. And I think it flew over this interviewer's head.
All the stampings, everything.
Okay.
The collector series do have original handguards and magazine wells.
Okay.
We new stamp those, but that's part of, they don't come in as kits as such. They're just parts that we were able to save that we do add to the collector series.
Okay.
So, but we reproduce the entire rifle from the ground up, which obviously is seen in our A3.
In other words, they're able to get some parts out, but not full parts kits.
We did, which again we see as a compliment.
Okay. And so, with that being said, everything is being produced here in the United States.
100%.
That's really, really cool.
Yep.
And then, in addition to the A1 and A2, we also have the A3 as well. So, talk a little bit about its development and what are you doing to pull those together?
Absolutely. So we have our A1 and then our A2, and the A2 that you see here
What
is
is with
always
this?
like urgent fixing.
I don't know what to make of this like color combo. It kind of looks like a G.I. Joe figure set or something from the 80s. I mean, it's rather unique looking, I guess. I bet it looks better in person in the pictures, though. I see why people would want this, even though I don't personally want it. It's interesting. It's really damn interesting.
The rail,
yeah, but 80s in the worst way is sometimes the best way. They're often two sides of the same coin.
Okay, so it basically made this a permanent change. So you have an M-lock upper, a full-length Picatinny upper. It's got a new paint job. It's got new trunnions. It's got a free-float barrel. So it was a way of the MOD extending the program, but also modernizing the SA-80 weapon system into what the MOD is using today.
I'm assuming MOD stands for Ministry of Defense.
Story, we offer the A3 also. So that's going to be our production mass-produced rifle, which because of the modern M-lock and rails is more suited to the American consumer in our opinion.
Yep.
These proprietary rails require very expensive optic mounts and sights.
Yes.
So we don't think that consumer really wants that. Along with the production costs to reproduce these handguards would be, quite frankly, almost more than the gun.
Yeah.
So the A3 fixes those problems while also continuing the story of this rifle in a historically accurate manner.
And once again, the A3s are ones that you're also going to produce as well.
Absolutely, yep. So we've got those ready. Yeah, we have a prototype here today that we're happy to show you.
Yep, and we'll get some of the B-roll in for that so you guys can see that a little bit more. They are showing that off camera here.
Yeah,
but
very busy today.
very, very busy. People are very interested in it. One of the questions that I had for you is, as far as, these are some of your prototypes, is there a point when these will be released, I guess, is when do you expect it to hit the market?
Absolutely. So part of our mission was we wanted to make sure we could actually do this. So we didn't come to market until our firearms were actually done.
Right.
So that's why it seems like we've come out of nowhere. We've been working very hard, but we didn't want to come to the market with a napkin idea. So we are currently cutting parts for production.
Okay.
This rifle has 3,500 rounds through it. This is a brand new receiver on here. The A3 is a brand new one. So we were able to produce those actually.
When I first heard of them doing this several months ago, they had, I think, one prototype rifle, and they'd only put like 50 rounds through it because they didn't want to like risk some kind of catastrophic damage to it. But once they got more prototypes, obviously, they've made some rapid progress in the past few months. I think it'll come out to market before the end of the year. Then maybe it'll be in stores if what he's saying is indeed true.
In less than 3 hours from nothing. This one here in our A3.
Wow.
So we're already working on that production process. So right now I'm saying about midsummer time is when those will be physically shipping out to customers.
Ooh, okay.
And that again is what we're aiming for. But with that said, all of our clients have told us, just take your time and get it right. That's our mission at the end of the day.
100%.
We're not in a rush to get these to market. We just want to do it correctly.
Yep.
Good, fast, cheap. Pick 2 of 3.
Taking our time and done our due diligence. So
yeah, and I would say that for a lot of the bullpups out here, you've already allowed me to mess with the trigger. You said it off camera. You said this is the best trigger on a bullpup ever.
Absolutely.
And it was really interesting because we were talking with some friends who had already been down here, and they're like, I don't know, I don't know if it's going to be as good as an AUG. But let me tell you, the trigger is actually better than any of the AUGs that I've ever messed with. So I think that is a really awesome benefit to these types of setups. And again, this is one of those oddities that I wasn't expecting to see down here. Yeah. So to be able to swing by and have such a great time talking with you and your team, I thought it was really, really cool. So thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
Evan, I really do appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Hopefully we can get together in the future once you get these released. We can get some videos out for you. You know, I'll come out. You're in PA, I think. Yep. So come out and see you. Got some other YouTube friends out that way too. So we'll get a whole bunch of us together and come out and do a race day or something like that.
Sounds fantastic. Yeah. Mandatory DPM.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah, I'm all about it. So there you guys have it. Murdoch and Company doing the L85s, and they're pretty cool. So with that being said, more content coming. Thanks, guys.
Back to TFB TV, because I think this firearm was also one of the talks of the show. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Hey everyone, James Reeves, TFB TV, here with one of my favorite people, John McClain. Yes, the real John McClain. You guys have seen him on TFB TV before. One of the best guests, one of the best presenters, truly, John. You're a good friend, and I'm really glad to have you on the program because you do an excellent job of explaining what's new from Arms Corps and RIA. These look like just regular 12-gauge shotguns, but in fact, they are the Pack-Out series, aptly named because
you can pack them in and out by simply pulling back on the rear sight and folding it up. So this is the short version. We have the long version with the buttstock. Now the cool thing about this, 14-inch barrel, f-stop grip as we call it, and because of all that, it's not technically called a shotgun, it's called a firearm, which means it does not require you to have to fill out any sort of silly paperwork with the NFA or anything like that. You can fold it up with the shells in the tube. Again, capacity of 4 in the tube. Then once it's unfolded, you can do 4 like that, 4+1. And it's just, I mean, this thing is a hoot to shoot. It's, if you're the kind of guy that likes to shoot the 50 Desert Eagles and the Barrett 50s and the 338s, you got to get yourself one of these and then have your friends give it a try. And I'm very curious to try and take it dove hunting just to see if I can hit anything with it.
Well, right? I mean, dude, you're a good shooter. I mean, you know, you're a competition shooter, so I don't doubt that you wouldn't be able to do something. Now, a lot of viewers out there might be getting deja vu because they saw me on a short that I posted from Iwa maybe 3 years ago, I want to say, where I saw a folding shotgun similar to this, and I posted that. It got like 1 million views, and everyone's like, when are we going to get this in the U.S.? When are we going to get this in the U.S.? The difference here is that these are both made in the U.S.
Out of Cedar City, Utah, our same facility that makes the 5.0, the 5.0E, the TAC Ultras that we've been making in the U.S., and with all the features that you get for these firearms, and the fact that it's made in the U.S., we're talking about $650 general MSRP for the long version and around $600 for the short version.
Speaking of, let's swap off. Now tell me about...
Oh, wow. Yeah, I definitely get the long version. Hell, if they actually, whatever, if what's true is true and happens, and they actually are successful at getting rid of the whole registration process of the NFA, not just $0 tax stamps, quote unquote, I might just, you know, they'll just sell the short version with the stock. Probably. But I don't know. I mean, like 600, 650. If these are worth, you know, if these can cut teeth, I mean, I think that's very reasonable. I certainly want to try one.
About the long version.
So here we have the Pack-Out Long from RIA USA. So this is entirely made out of Cedar City, Utah, right here in the U.S. And there's a couple cool things about this gun. First of all, it's 12 gauge. It's a lot of hate to send to someone's way, right? But it can be used for a lot of things. Whether
I love
take
shotguns,
turkey hunting,
by the
bird
way.
hunting, or even for self-defense. Now, as far as that aspect of having to pack in and out of the wilderness, why is it called the Pack-Out? Well, it's pretty simple. If you pull back on the rear sight here, which has some serrations on the face, that actually initiates the first fold of the firearm, and then from there, side button there. Now we actually have it compacted up to about 28 inches, and this fits in most large backpacks that I've been able to find on the market. You can also fold it up with the shells in the tube. The tube capacity is 4, so you can have 4+1, ready to rock and roll. Well, the +1 wouldn't be ready to rock and roll, right? But sure. You could have it with the 4-2 or
That's
4
cool.
shells
That's
in there already. And then just to throw it out, fold it out, close it up, rack it. The other thing about the pump is actually it's also spring assisted. So it is going to take a little bit of use to get comfortable with having to overcome that spring pressure. But once you have it, it'll feed the shell by itself. Okay. So, I mean, just everything about this firearm, just really fun, intuitive. You've got a rail, so you can throw a red dot optic on it. I mean, just a lot of cool features for it. And all those features, plus being made in the U.S., MSRP is going to be around $650.
I don't know how I feel about the spring-assisted pump, though.
That's pretty impressive. But, you know,
honestly, I think I'd have to try it first to know.
You guys, I know one thing I appreciate. It's funny, we were just talking behind the tent before we came in here. I'm like, yeah, you know, we got to go see these guys because they always make an effort to do something good and to make it affordable. And we really appreciate that, and I know that our viewers do as well. So this Pack Out series is really awesome. And John, what's the availability on these?
We actually started shipping these to our distribution partners around November 14th of 2025 So
they're out.
Should be seeing them hitting the shelves now.
Okay. Awesome.
Oh,
well,
okay.
Thanks a ton, John. I appreciate it. Always good having you on the program.
Yeah.
Guys, stay tuned.
Might go
Bringing you more.
try and find one maybe this weekend. Okay, maybe I'll do more gun review videos or whatever, or reacts to gun review videos on my next stream. But I've got 2 pulled up for cars now, so we're going to switch gears, no pun intended. Yeah, I'd like an auto loader that could fold like that. That would be neat. Okay, so we're gonna watch this fucker here, Zy Green. He did a recent review on an ND3 Miata Club. Why it's the best sports car I don't want. There are always reasons people don't want Miatas, even though, you know, I love Miatas and that's what my whole character is about. But let's see what he says.
Another ND3 Miata. I've reviewed so many of those. I actually went through my ZPI index the other day and found 15 entries for various ND generations of Miata, ND1, ND2, ND3. And I've driven some of those examples multiple times. So we're talking about probably close to 20 different videos on my channel over the years. And yet here we are in another example. I get so many offers to review these.
This is Zircon Sand Metallic though. There's a love-hate relationship with this color. You either love it or you hate it, and the only people who really like it, I think, are the ones who want a unique color or the ones who want to buy an Indy Miata that they're going to modify for off-road use. They're going to put like a Paco Motorsports lift kit or something like that. Yeah, if that's the case, this is the color to get. You could only get this color for 2 years on the Indy, by the way. 2023 and 2024. They dropped it for obvious reasons this past model year. They haven't released or given information on the 2026 Miatas yet, though, oddly enough.
These cars, and there's
and I don't know that I like those aftermarket wheels, to be honest. I think they're a little bit too loud for the color.
Good reason. So not only am I going to review this particular example of the ND3 today, but I want to talk bigger picture. Why is this car, the ND Miata in general, and Miatas in general, so popular, and why I don't want one? So let's start off with the mods. The owner, Mike, modified this to be a street and canyon car. We've got the Super Miata Techna Sport coilovers with the Swift Spring upgrade. We have an alignment, 2.5 degrees of camber up front, 2 degrees in the back. For wheels and tires, we've got the Flying Miata Kogeki 17x9 plus 45. Actually, that's S2000 fitment. Crazy that I know that. And we're running Toyo Proxys Sport tires. They're 235/40/17 all around. We've also got this Craven Speed short shift kit, a custom shift knob, a Goodwin Racing front strut tower brace, and an HKS Legamax Sport exhaust. Pretty standard mods, bolt-ons, suspension, short shifter. We also have an aftermarket throttle pedal. And this is a club without the Brembo BBS Recaro package. So we got the base seats, the base floating calipers up front. They're not the Brembos. And of course the BBS wheels, which Mike already swapped out. This exterior color is called Zircon Sand. I absolutely love it. I think it really pops and it stands out compared to all the Soul Red Crystal Metallic Miatas.
I don't agree with loving it, but it's certainly more unique than Soul Red. I'm tired of seeing Soul Red Miatas. No offense, I'm on Team Blue when it comes to car colors.
Out there. Not that that color is not amazing, but this one just has a little bit more flair to it, in my opinion. This is powered, of course, by the 2-liter naturally aspirated.
You had those wheels on your Corolla?
ND2 as well. This makes 181 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque. 6-speed manual transmission with an LSD, since only the base sport model comes with an open diff. Being a soft top, this only weighs around 2,300.
I do not like that aftermarket shift knob. That looks... I don't know what that looks like, to be honest. That's probably why I don't like it.
100 pounds, double wishbone front suspension, multi-link rear, electric power steering. I've gone through these specs so many times, I can rattle these numbers off like nobody's business. But let's talk about how this particular car drives.
Oh, the tires.
In
okay,
bigger
yeah.
picture, why
Sorry.
the Miata
Toyo,
is
that's
so
right.
popular.
Ugh.
And I think it's actually quite telling that the owner,
I don't
Mike,
know what
used
those
to have
wheels
a
are.
Camaro SS1LE, and while he appreciated the performance of that car, it just didn't speak to him emotionally. He actually replaced that with this. He went down close to 300 horsepower, but also 1,500 plus pounds, and he likes this car way, way more. Shout out to Kevin Jabal up there, driving an E60 M5, for making this review possible. Nice short shifter here, this Craven Speed short shift kit. It shortens the throws, obviously, but it also makes the shift action a bit higher effort, a bit more mechanical. Is it an upgrade over stock? I mean, the stock shifter is already so good, and I
wasn't talking
lightness
States.
of it, the low effort. But if you prefer a more S2000-like shift feel, this does a great job. Just the nimbleness of this car, the purity of it, the direct steering, not a ton of feedback through the steering, but great load up, great on center feel, very precise. But I've already said all of these things before. Let's talk about why this car is so popular, at least in my view. And it comes down to a few things. Number one, most importantly, it's that it's affordable. Obviously, if you fully spec out a Club, RF, Brembo, BBS, Recaro, all that stuff, you're looking at over $40,000, maybe closer to $45,000, and that is no small sum of money for a two-door sports car.
I think it's kind of ridiculous that
this Jeep
the Miata new is now hit $40,000.
But when you think
here we are,
picture,
35 years
the
later.
landscape of brand new cars, enthusiast driving cars that you can buy today, the fact that you can get these for $30,000, $35,000 in a decent trim level is pretty impressive. And although you're not getting much power, you're not getting much of anything, this is a small, lightweight car, the fact that it's so pure, that's what makes it so enjoyable. What other car today will give you this unfiltered of a driving experience?
He is right about that. Almost any car that's from the 2020s now. I mean, even the current generation GR86 and BRZ, which I test drove. I mean, it feels numb compared to the ND Miata. The ND Miata is probably the only car in the market today that you can get new that still, I don't want to say it feels analog, but it harkens back to the analog days of the 90s and prior decades.
High revving, naturally aspirated engine that lets you wind it out on basically any road because it's less than 200 horsepower.
It's 181 horsepower in the ND.
Get that beautiful rotation on throttle thanks to this limited slip differential, retuned for the ND3 generation. for increased corner entry stability, and all in all, you just get such an enjoyable little car. They've made millions of Miatas over the years, from NA to ND, but I would argue that in today's day and age, the Miata is actually not so much of an emotional purchase. At least if I were to buy one, it would not be an emotional purchase, and I think that probably holds true for many people. The Miata, if you really think about it, is the logical choice. If you want something that you can drive every single day and drive hard in the canyons, on the track, and just beat on it 10/10ths, improve your driving skills in the process, and have very little to worry about in terms of ownership costs, and I'm talking reliability, maintenance, even aftermarket upgrades, because there's such a massive aftermarket for this car with so many different options available for suspension, brakes, chassis stiffening, wheels, exhaust, intake, aero. I mean, the options are limitless. So you can take this car as a blank canvas and build it exactly how you want. And that is actually quite a unique proposition, even though the car itself is common and there's such a great community around these cars. And when you think about it from that perspective, $30,000 to $40,000 is a small price to pay for all the value that you're getting. If you're a driving enthusiast, if you want to do track days, canyon runs, have a great time with very low risk, this is the way to do it. But here's why I don't want one. Admittedly, I am someone who likes to buy cars that other people don't really think too much about. Cars that I don't really see out on the road very often. Even though the 3 cars in my personal garage right now are all reliable Japanese cars, I rarely see any of them on the road. Sometimes it takes months or years to see another NC1 NSX or Integra Type S on the road. If I were to be totally logical about it, with a 3-car garage, I would have gone with a dedicated track car, something like this ND3 Miata with modifications, a practical daily driver that's not really an enthusiast car, maybe a crossover, or maybe something like a BMW X5 that can actually tow my track car to the track. And then I would have one third car that can be more emotional, something like an NSX that I take out on date nights and is more of a special occasion type of car. I obviously didn't do that. I went with 3 emotional purchases because those cars just speak to me in a way that unfortunately the Miata doesn't. Even though I really love driving properly modified examples of this car, especially on track. And another big part of that is just simply due to the fact that I've driven so many examples. This is not a new experience for me anymore. I thrive on new driving experiences and ownership experiences, and the Miata has kind of become the new S2000 in my world. I've driven so many different examples on street and track, and there's no longer any novelty to it. So even though objectively it's probably the right car and should have a spot in my garage, I just can't bring myself to do it. That's not to take anything away from this platform. It's amazing. Millions of people have enjoyed and loved and cherished their Miatas. This is a great example of how to modify a Miata as an all-around excellent sports car. The Super Miata Technic coilovers with the Swift Spring upgrade, I might add, does improve the handling of this car on a bumpy road compared to the standard springs.
That would be funny if that was Jubal's
exhaust is excellent. It opens
Miata,
up the sound
the
of
red
this
one.
otherwise muted engine. The wheels and tires are an absolute must if you want that nice aesthetic stance. I mean, there's so many ways to modify this, and I think Mike has done an excellent job. I actually really like this short shifter with this particular shift knob. It gives me major Honda S2000 vibes in terms of the shift feel. And in this excellent shade of Zircon Sand Metallic.
That shift knob look a little bit crooked, and it may be because of the reflection the first part of the video. Now I see where the now I see the S2K resemblance there.
It's quite a looker as well. I've always liked how the ND generation looks with the right mods, lowered, widened stance, in the right color. It's a timeless, beautiful sports car. I am just full of praise for the ND Miata, specifically the ND3. I think this is easily the best version of the Miata ever. Everything about it has just been dialed in and honed over the years. Yet again, I just can't bring myself to buy one. It's just not that kind of emotional car for me. But let me know what you think about my thoughts on the Miata as a platform. Are any of you in the same boat where you recognize all the amazing qualities of this car, and yet you don't have the urge to own one? Why is that? I'd be really curious to know your thoughts on this topic. A big shout out to Mike once again and Kevin from the Jabal and Cars YouTube channel. Thank you guys as always for watching. Keep your Miata
yeah, it was his car. He said Jabal and Cars.
Missions coming. I will drive every Miata on the planet if given the opportunity. See you guys in the next one.
Yeah, okay, whatever. All right, on to the last video from Jubal and Cars.
If you're an enthusiast looking for affordable drop-top motoring perfection, it's pretty hard.
Yes, he reviews a C4 Corvette. Which oddly enough, I mean, like, I'm a big fan of the C5 because well, the C4 and the C5 are my favorite generations because those are the ones that I grew up with. But this in particular is a C4 from the 90s. They changed the interior quite tremendously in the 1991 model year, I think. And you had this driver-oriented cockpit, basically, inside. So this is going to be interesting. I haven't seen this. This is only 2 weeks old, so let's watch. It's 11 minutes.
Pull. 1994 Chevrolet Corvette C4 generation
I love that
with
color.
a 6-speed manual transmission.
It
Would
literally,
you believe that about
I think it's the same color as my ND, or almost.
3/4 of these cars were actually optioned with an automatic transmission. Now, I have reviewed a C4 ZR1 on the channel before. It looked so sick with the aero that was added to it. The car looked money, but it had a lot of issues with the brakes and with the engine that left me feeling like I didn't get to properly experience what the C4 is all about. So this one is actually a base, however it has a few mods, such as Z51 suspension, except for the sway bars, but the actual dampers and the springs are here. We also have refreshed bushings and a mild cam on the engine with a tune. And surprisingly, RT660 rubber, and that's a
I like those saw blade wheels, by the way. Those look sick on the Corvette, on the C4. They're like they're made for that car.
275 section width all around. Now the C4 is powered by the 5.7 liter naturally aspirated pushrod V8, the LT1, making 300 horsepower at 5,000 RPM and 340 pound-feet of torque at 3,600 RPM. But again, we're making a little bit more with that mild cam and tune. Now, this LT1 engine was actually first introduced in 1992. That was the new version of the 5.7 liter pushrod V8, which was known as the LT1. The prior base model C4 Corvettes actually used the 5.7 liter L98 or L83 engines, which made between 205 and 250 horsepower. The ZR1, on the other hand, made 375 to 405 horsepower, but definitely not the example I drove. That thing was pushing out maybe like 250. Now, the 1994 model year brought updates to the interior, including a 2-spoke steering wheel, which was replaced by a Momo aftermarket wheel in this example, new door panels, redesigned seats, and a passenger airbag. Also, the LT1 engine received mass airflow, or MAF, and a sequential port fuel injection, also known as SFI, and these systems would improve the engine's responsiveness, idle quality, and drivability. The car weighs in just above 3,300 pounds. We have double wishbone in the front and multi-link rear suspension with leaf springs, of course, which is how the Chevy team has done it for the Corvette for the longest time until recent times. I do still absolutely love this interior. It feels so like 80s retro cool.
Except that's really early 90s interior.
A little bit of a rougher idle, a little bit of that vibration. That's due to the mild cam. Got the handbrake on this side, just like an Aston Martin. Seat adjustments are here.
Oh, so that's a funny thing about the C4 Corvette is you get the handbrake on this side, not near the transmission tunnel. I think the other thing about the handbrake is when you pull it up to like engage it, the handle actually goes back down. It falls back down even though it's engaged. That's so that you don't trip over it. But to disengage it, I think you have to push the button on it or something. I don't remember. But, oh, and the door sills on the C4 Corvette are super tall. Like, as you can see here, like that's the bottom of the door right there. So you have to be careful when you actually like get in. You might trip unless you need to lift your foot up higher than you would on most other cars.
It's just a really cool retro interior. You also can tilt this, like so, using this incredibly long stock here to adjust something as minor as the tilt on the wheel. I feel like I'm sitting way too high up. This visor is almost at my eye line, and my head is not even an inch away from the top here. Man, these cars are so retro cool. This already feels a lot healthier than that ZR1 that I drove.
Now, if I'm correct, if my hunch is correct, unless it was modified as such, which could be the case, all 6 speeds from GM, especially on their F bodies, and the Corvette, like they have something called computer assisted gear shift, or CAGS, and what it does is it locks out second and third gear if you have it in a certain rev range, and makes you skip from 1 to 4. And I had to teach somebody stick shift a long time ago with in a Pontiac Firebird, with CAGS equipped, and it was so freaking annoying. And the thing is, I think, and GM people can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the simplest way to disable CAGS is you actually remove the room fuse, which disables all the interior lighting, but I think that's the fuse that controls the CAGS as well. Don't quote me on that though, but apparently like that's what my buddy did when on his Firebird a long time ago to disable it.
Love the pushrod V8 sound and character. Oh, I forgot that the traction is super aggressive. You can feel the throttle pedal move in and out. So you just press that, ASR off. Now we should be good. Obviously, older traction control systems were not very sophisticated. They were overly aggressive. Lots of body roll. You can feel and hear a lot of chassis flex as well. This isn't a proper hardtop. And the technology and chassis engineering has come a long way since the early 90s. Wow, a lot of cow shake. And it feels a lot more than 3,300 pounds. It's a very long car. You can feel a lot of that weight over the front. It's not eager to change direction. But man, does it have this vibe to it, this late 80s, early 90s kind of American cool. Steering is hydraulic, but it's not really talking to me as much as I would expect. Also, a little bit of play to the wheel. The ratio isn't actually as slow as I would expect, because normally with older cars, they have very slow ratios. But here it feels actually modern with the steering ratio. It's that bit of slop at the front end reduces your level of confidence. All the pedals and all the inputs have these very long throws. The clutch, you actually want to sit further away based on how you position your right foot for the throttle and the brake. But the clutch has these very long throws. Medium weighted clutch.
I always thought the clutches and the gearboxes on these cars were kind of heavy. And I think, if you're coming from like JDM, like Honda clutches are known for being heavier than say Toyota and Mazda clutches. But these take the cake in my opinion.
Very high engagement point though, and not as precise in terms of feeling where that engagement point is. give you a pull. RPM red line. I'm going to start braking very early for corners because of the heft here. And the brakes, they're a lot better than in that ZR1, which you'd press a mile deep, they'd be super soft and wouldn't slow you down that much. These feel a lot better. These are operating properly, but still, older technology, not inspiring the most confidence. It's a car that you're not really gonna want to push beyond 6 or 7/10ths. But the nice thing is that it's still a lot of fun even below the limit. You have this very characterful, very present and very forward LT1 engine. The transmission feels surprisingly modern, very mechanical, very notchy, and not a lot of lateral slop. Look at how tight this is. Also keep in mind, this is an excellent example. The owner mentioned that this would probably go for about 10 to 12K on the market.
That depends on the mileage. Because it's in good condition, it obviously is.
303 aerospace protected because the interior looks exceptional for 30 plus years old. Little double clutch there in a second. Ooh, can feel the brakes kicking in with ABS there. A little prematurely, I would argue. Like a little bit more GT than full-on sports car, but it's a lot of fun to drive actually. I feel like I'm in one of those old movies like RoboCop or something. I love the interior on these things. I think they have such a unique design. There's nothing else quite like this. I mean, look at how big the gauges are, how they're displayed. You have the digital speed in the middle. What other cars were doing that in 1994? Very rare. And then you have these other smaller gauges stacked in this way. Very interesting gauge cluster.
Is this,
tilt to this.
Where was I?
Characterful, very present and very forward. Very rare.
I was going to say about his comment on the digital speedometer that's right here, the fuel gauge that's on the 90s C4 Corvettes. Has this guy not driven an 80s C4 Corvette that has the full-on digital, or what I like to call Digilog display? That was so 80s. That was so fucking cool. A lot of those don't work anymore, though. They get faded and whatnot.
And then you have these other smaller gauges stacked in this way. Very interesting gauge cluster. Throttle response is a little bit...
So one thing I will give GM credit for, I don't know that many other companies do this, is that, and I don't know about their current product lineups, but even into the 2000s and part of the 2010s, they were still offering a lot of their vehicles with voltmeters and real oil pressure gauges. They're old school about that, and mad respect to them for that.
I'm not going to say sluggish, it just requires a jab, right? It's still naturally aspirated, very immediate with the throttle. You just have to jab it a little bit harder. As with most of the inputs. Greater throws. Same thing with the transmission. Like, it feels very modern. It's a little bit lower resistance than I was expecting. Or lower effort, I should say. But the throw length itself is
that car's rattling a lot. I wonder if this
time period appropriate.
That doesn't have T-tops, does it?
Early to mid 90s, we didn't have these really sharp front ends or really firm minimal travel pedals with a lot of feedback and resolution. The transmissions back then were also requiring a greater distance. But man, for only $10,000 to $12,000, this is pretty fun. This is actually great. Now, the actual chassis, yes, there's a lot of flex. The suspension with the leaf springs, not the most sophisticated. The trade-off between ride comfort and body control is not great. Like, you're feeling it's still a comfortable ride, but you're still feeling a good amount of the harshness from the bumps as well. And you're not having great body control. But that's like, again, this is a car that's close to stock from 1994, and for $10,000 to $12,000, it's hard to really complain about these things. It almost more feels like just part of the vibe.
Yeah,
and the
no problem,
of a
Zach.
car from this era,
Thanks for joining.
rather than major shortcomings. Time for another pull. Big bump right here. Little bit excess motion after the bump, but that's okay. We're not going to nitpick here. Whenever you're driving a car, you have to ask yourself, how does it encourage you to drive it, right? Like, there are certain cars that egg you on to drive them hard. There are other cars that make you feel like you want to relax and take it easy. This is a car that makes you want to drive like 6 or 7 tenths. It's a lot of fun at that range. If you start pushing it harder, then yes, it's going to start falling apart, in the sense that you don't have that level of confidence, that sophistication in terms of engineering to push it harder with confidence. And when you're driving too slow, you're like, oh man, I want to rev this engine out, because this is like very much America naturally aspirated pushrod V8. And it's a cool car, guys. I gotta say, I'm a fan. Let me know what you think of this C4 Corvette. Big shout out to the owner, Jeremy, for letting me review his car. Shout out to Fenton for the Zygreen channel as well. Much love, my friends, and I'll see you all in that next one.
Like I said, I C4 or C5 are the Corvettes I get, but I'd have to do some research onto which model years are the best ones to go for. I know with the C5, the best model years to go for are really the last four, 01 to 04. And of those 4 model years, 03 is the best one. That's only from knowledge from other YouTube channels. C4, I'm not sure, but most people say go for a 90s C4 rather than an 80s because there's more chassis stiffening and whatnot. I would just try and find a 96 if you want OBD2. And that was the last model year of the C4. But again, I'm not a Corvette guy though, but this is one I would definitely consider getting if I wanted to get a Corvette. So this is a little treat for all of you who think I only review Miatas. I don't. Okay. I think that's going to do it for tonight's stream, though. Thanks for joining.